Here we are, part 2 of the 12 days of stress management training, and I'm really glad you're back. Just to recap, last time we were talking about who is important to us. I want you to see them in your mind's eye for a minute. And we talked about, if there was a bunch of people, again, the people that you love and you serve, and if they were standing around you offering you toast at your birthday or at Christmas dinner, what is it that you would really want them to say? What is it you want them to notice? What is it that you want them to like and respect about you? Those are the things that are important to you. Those are the things that matter. All of these big ideas, all of these people, knowing who and what really matters to us, it becomes like a compass, a map, a divining rod. It helps us hone in on those core ideas that really truly matter to us. And in doing so, it kind of gives us permission to go, yeah, this stuff is important and this stuff is important, but this thing here, this is crucial. This is what really matters to me in my life. This is what gives me purpose and meaning in my life, and I need to ground myself on that. And when you ground yourself on that, it's like you're standing on a rock in the face of a storm. If you know what you are, who you are, and what you stand for, storms of life and work can come and hit you, and you still have that solid grounding beneath your feet because you know for sure that this is what you're about and this is who you're for. So, ground yourself on those big ideas when it comes to dealing with any stressful period in your life, including this crazy, chaotic time of year. I don't know about you, but my schedule has already gotten really full. I thought I was going to have a fairly quiet week this week. No. I don't, and I bet neither do you. And so if that's the case, I'm doubly appreciative of the fact that you're stopping to watch this and listen to this today. When you're thinking about who is important to you, last time we talked about going through your jobs list, such as this one, and we talked about choosing just a couple of those things on that list that are, unnegotiable, they have to get done. And we talked about maybe thinking about finding a couple that you could just cross off or delegate to someone else. And I'm betting that for quite a few of you, that was a challenging task to do, wasn't it? And thinking about the people and the things that really matter to you, and thinking about how you could show that a little bit. You kind of got that feeling hitting you in the chest, this momentary, but what if? I should, I have to, I can't. But I've got to do this. I want to do this, but I've got to do that. Yeah? That's really, really normal. And it's one of the things that really adds to our stress at this time of year because we don't know how to deal with that little voice, that inner critic in the middle of our head, that pressure in our chest that ramps up as soon as we think about having to maybe, what if we have to disappoint someone? What if we have to say no? We don't like doing that, do we? We are relational beings. We thrive off our connections to one another, and we get scared when we think about what if something goes wrong? What if I should, but I can't? Yeah, I hear you. And you're not alone. You're really not. It's a really normal thing to have happen. And do you notice what happens next? You have these people who are important to you, and then you have this yucky stuff that comes up inside, the shoulds and the buts and the inner critic and that tension that just ramps up your spine and into your head and behind your eyes and into your shoulders and we don't like that, do we? So we do stuff to move away from it. And again, that makes sense. But the question is, does what we do to move away from it actually help? We'll move into it by, saying yes to everything and everyone. Or we get cranky and yell because we're getting too stressed because we're carrying too much. Or we get really tired because we start missing out on sleep because of all these other good things that we've got going on. And we don't want to give any of them up because they're all good. The question is that process working for you? And if it is, then keep doing it. If it's not, slow down and stop and have a look. Unfortunately, humans spend almost 50% of their time stuck in their heads rather than paying attention to what's going on out there in the world. We get locked into dealing with the inner critic and the yucky stuff inside and that tension. And so we spend all our time dealing with that rather than moving towards the things and the people that matter to us. And if this is you, if any of this is sounding familiar, I've got a few little hacks for you. 1, here's the should hack. And if you've been following me for a while, you've probably heard it before, but I'm going to say it again because it's really good. Should is such a quiet, unobtrusive little word, yeah? It sounds like it belongs off in a quiet little forest somewhere. But with decades of life experience, it starts carrying this real heavy weight. You know, I should put on this massive Christmas dinner. I should spend X, Y, Z amounts on all of these people. I should get the Christmas cards out on time. I should, I have to, I must. Yeah, do you feel the weight of it? That weight of perfectionism or judgment or fear or guilt or shame or duty and obligation just sitting. Now I just wanted you to try changing the word should for could. I should do all of this stuff for Christmas dinner. I could do all of this stuff for Christmas dinner. I should spend all this money on these presents. I could spend all this money on these presents. Do you feel the difference there? Just a bit of a gap? Yeah. That's you starting to master the stress of Christmas. Just by creating that little bit of wriggle room, and that's just by changing a word. Changing the associations and the learning and the emotions that life has taught you to bring down all on those handful of words. If you can shift the word, start shifting the experience. Here's another one for you. But. But is a little tricky word. It's an exclusionary word. It comes from the Old English phrase, be out. You know, this, be out that. This, but that. It kind of cuts us in two whenever we use it. And sometimes we want that, but sometimes we don't. So I want you to notice the contexts and the places and the times in which you are using that one little word, but. I want to hang out with my family, but I don't want to deal with the conflict. I want to spoil my family. I want to spend all this money on presents, but I can't afford it. Financial pressure is a massive thing this time of year, and that's why I'm honing in on it today. The shoulds and the buts, they're responsible for a lot of the financial pressure and strain that Aussies experience all through the year. And we experience this strain all through the year, often because of what happens right here, right now. So, what do you do with but? Well, if but is an exclusionary word, then you just swap for an inclusionary one. And I want to hang out with my family, and I don't feel like dealing with the conflict. I want to give my family lots of presents. I want to give my friends lots of presents, and I can't afford to do that. Again, do you feel that shift, that little bit of a gap? That's you creating the wriggle room to start getting some flexibility around this stuff. Stress pins us into place. But these little things can just start giving us a bit of wriggle room. And oh, look, sometimes a little bit of room is all you need to do something different that makes the whole situation joyful rather than stressful. And it starts with just this little gap that you create in the words that you use to describe the event. I know it sounds profound and silly at the same time, but just try it and tell us what happens. Now, the other thing I want to be talking about when it comes to dealing with this yucky stuff that comes up inside, so that's kind of some mind stuff that you can do, but you've got to deal with your body as well. There's a feedback loop that happens between your mind and your brain and your body whenever some kind of stressful situation arises. And your body and your mind feed off each other. So if your mind is able to read that your body is tense, it's going to say, hey, there's a threat here. We've got to get all stressed about it. I should, I have to, I must. But all of that stuff turns on. So you've got to work on relaxing your body as well. Yeah, so just drop your shoulders, loosen your jaw, relax your hands. Okay, shake them out if you have to. If you're the type that likes going for a walk, then go for a walk. and pay attention to just what's going on around you. Because like I said earlier, humans are really good at getting stuck in their heads for almost half their waking lives. So if you can get out there and just go for a walk and observe what's going on around you, you're going to have much less of that feedback loop happening. So you're going to be able to be joyful, more joyful at Christmas rather than stressed. Okay? Because you're activating a different part of your neural networks and a different part of your experience. And then you start paying attention to that experience, and so it starts growing as well. So sometimes going out for a walk isn't going to suit you. So I just wanted you to think, are you the sort of person who, when you get stressed, do you kind of shut down? Do you withdraw and slow down? If you are, just sitting in one space and noticing everything that your senses are telling you is a really, really good relaxation tool. Okay? Just noticing what your eyes are telling you, what your ears are telling you, what your nose is telling you, how your mouth tastes. What are you actually physically feeling on your skin? Notice all of that stuff. If you're the type of person that gets really, really hyper focused and really task focused, so when you get stressed, it's like, it's not just this to-do list, it's this, yeah? You need to just slow down and focus on one thing. Maybe it's washing the dishes. Maybe it's just on breathing. Maybe it's when you have a shower, you just focus on the sensation of the water on your body. Okay, just one thing. Slow yourself down and focus on that one thing. And you don't need to do it for long. You don't need to do any of this for long. Like just a minute at a time is fine. If you want to do more, then please feel free. And it's surprising how much benefit you can get from doing this for just 5 minutes, 2 minutes even. You don't need to start big. You just need to slow yourself down for a handful of minutes. And if you can do this every hour, wow, you're going to change things. You may not notice it straight away, but you are. Train yourself to just slow down regularly throughout the day. And that will help you be more efficient with the rest of it. Now, I want to say a little bit about workload before we go. There is a phrase that I love by Dwight Eisenhower, who was one of the generals involved in World War II, and he was a president of the United States. And he said, I have two kinds of problems, the important and the urgent. The urgent is never important, and the important is never urgent. And I really like that saying because it just helps us, again, zero in on what is important and what isn't. And here's a little tip for you. The stuff that is urgent is usually important to someone else, but it's not important to us, or there might just be, major consequences if it doesn't get done right now. So have a list of things that are truly important to you to get done, whether or not it's at work and dealing with deadlines or at home prepping for Christmas. Focus on what is important, okay? And just write down 3 things that are important for you to achieve every day. For me, it was make a salad for parish council dinner tonight, film this, and get out the door in time for a meeting. That's my 3 things. And then here's something else you can do. Okay, so say that something is important and urgent. Do it now. If something is important, but it's not urgent, do it soon. If something is urgent, but it's not important, see if you can delegate it to someone else. And if it's not important and it's not urgent, why are we talking about it again? To recap, notice what's important to you. Notice who's important to you. Notice that stuff that comes up inside when you try to move towards them, the shoulds and the coulds, and the buts and the ands. And just try shifting your language around those a little bit and create a bit of wriggle room, a bit of possibility for something to be different, for you to do something different. Take yourself out for a walk to just reconnect with the world around you, rather than just what's going on up in your head. Breathe. Slow and gentle. Just for a couple of minutes every couple of hours. And then focus in again on what is important and what is urgent. And let yourself make that distinction and go, yeah, this stuff is important to me. That stuff is not important to me. This stuff is important. This stuff is urgent. This is my stuff. This is not my stuff. And come up with a way that you can deal with all of those things together, whether that means doing it yourself, delegating, or not doing it at all. I would love to hear from you. Drop your comments in the box below, and I'll see you next time.